Hello everyone, Traveler of the Void here, and I hope you're all doing well. Sorry for my nasally voice, I have a bit of a cold. But today, real quick, I wanted to address the topic of the Dragon's Dogma 2 release. Dragon's Dogma 2 released Thursday after much hype and anticipation. I personally, have been hyped because Dragon's Dogma 1 is probably one of my top favorite games ever. It's at least in my top 10, if not my top 5. I'll probably do a video on that later. Uh, since its release, however, some not so good truths have come out about the game. There's microtransactions, they're missing features, and performance issues. Now, Capcom has addressed these issues on their on their Steam forum page. Now, being upfront, I personally am only like a few hours into the game. However, there are two major issues myself and others have in particular with the game. But first, my quick opinion on the microtransactions and the performance. As to the microtransactions, I don't like them. I know they're just for convenience or time savers, but when you put those in your single player game, it makes me question, did you do something to the gameplay that makes it just inconvenient enough that I want to buy the microtransaction? It's always going to be an underlying thing now. Like I said, I'm only a couple hours in, so I can't make that assessment. As for the performance issues, I haven't really noticed any. Once again, only a few hours in. However, Capcom has addressed this issue in their reply. And I also have to mention that the Nuvo, the DRM known for causing performance issues, is included in this game. Now, most likely I'll do a review of this game because, like I said, the first one was one of my favorites. So I know I'm going to blast through this game. Now, my major issue with this game. Notice anything missing? That's right. There's no new game option. For some unfathomable reason, they forgot to put quite possibly the most basic feature in their game. And I can't even attribute it to malice because even then, I can't think of any gain they would get from it. Now, they addressed this in their reply too, but the way they worded it, we are looking at adding a feature to the Steam version of the game that will allow players that are already playing to restart the game. We will announce more details as soon as we can. So it isn't there and they forgot to enable it. They totally didn't implement it and it has to be added into the game. How is this a thing? And this just adds to my second problem with the game. There's only one save. This is a game with multiple classes, and each of those classes can be built out to a different playstyle. Let's look at Elden Ring, the 22 Game of the Year winner, and a similar game to theirs. This isn't a recent feature. This was included in Legend of Zelda, back in the 1980s. This is a concept almost, if not older than I am. Notice the gray hair? Hey, Capcom, remember when people were complaining about this very issue with Dragon's Dogma 1? Are you just not listening to our complaints? I mean, once again, this game isn't multiplayer, even though you have 4 optional NPCs, but it's another topic I can talk about later. So why is this a thing? People were making builds in your last game, right? I'm assuming, once again, only a few hours in, that you implemented the same leveling system from the last game, where your currently equipped vocation is what affects your stats when you level up. So while you can in-game switch from fighter to mage, if you spend the majority of your time as a fighter, your stats will be as a fighter. And when you switch to mage, they'll never be as strong as if you were just a mage all the way through the game. Now, I hope Capcom eventually resolves these issues, They said they're working on the new game option, but there's nothing about multiple saves mentioned. So anyway, that's my take on this fiasco. Am I just an old man yelling at the clouds? Or do you feel the same way? Or do you have a different opinion? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, safe travels.